favorite podcasts. There are 4 amazing shows I want you to consider for the People's Choice Podcast Awards, the longest-running premier awards event in the podcasting space, open to shows worldwide. You can vote at podcastawards.com and nominate the following shows. Writers and Illustrators of the Future podcast in the categories of education and storyteller drama. This show is based on the world-famous Writers of the Future contest created in 1983 by L. Ron Hubbard and provides writing tips and art advice from contest judges, winners, and industry professionals for writers and artists wanting to take their next step, along with the needed inspiration to keep on going. Next one, The Centralist in the category of politics and news. The Centralist is a much different news and political program. It is not opinion news, it's just the facts so you, the people, can make up your own minds on the different stories reported on. Listen as Joe Montaldo brings to you just the facts from trusted sources. Science and Beyond in the category of science and medicine. Science and Beyond is a true science-based program that explores every aspect of science, from how things work to why we need science, and where science can't explain something, we go beyond to see if we can figure it out on our own how something works. The Outer Realm in the category of society culture. The Outer Realm is a very popular show hosted by Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano, with guests who are well-versed within their respective fields of ufology, paranormal, cryptozoology, and anything else that would be deemed otherworldly. Nothing is off limits in the Outer Realm. Michelle is an international public figure and has spent the last 18 years working in the paranormal. Her co-host Amelia is a remote viewing medium with 9 years experience working in missing children and cold and active murder cases. So go to podcastawards.com to vote for these 4 shows and any others you enjoy listening to. That's podcastawards.com.
All right, podcastawards.com. Vote your conscience, man. Vote, vote, vote. And that's all, folks. That's all, folks. So, of course, this is Discovery Paranormal. Of course, you have entered the realm of Michael Angley, who is live in Washington, D.C. I will say this. People like to talk about third eye, and I have a lot of conversations, and I know people are very spiritual who have acknowledged, nursed it along, and then they use it for their vision, inner and outer vision, right? So, what is a third eye, you ask? See, Michael, what's the third eye? The third eye is actually a pineal gland, and it's a pea-sized gland, real small, shaped like a little pine cone, which is interesting to note because, in other cultures, they reference this pine cone. And most animals that you know and love have a pineal gland as well, right? So shaped like a pine cone, located in the vertebrate brain near the hypothalamus and pituitary gland, also known as the third eye. It is a revered tool of seers, mystics, and considered to be the organ of supreme universal connection. Its significance appears in every ancient culture throughout the world. For example, the Ayurvedic philosophy, the third eye is represented by the Ajna chakra, and in ancient Egypt, the symbol of the eye of Horus mirrors the placement of the pineal gland in the profile of the human head. The third eye is connected to clarity, concentration, imagination, and intuition. Good. Now you know what the heck a third eye is, right? But it's more than that. Much, much more. The third eye in biology, right? For the little scientists that like to dissect people and all that. The pineal gland represents the third eye in biology, which produces melatonin. Melatonin controls the circadian rhythms and reproductive hormones. This makes the pineal a master regulator of time, affecting not only your sleep patterns, but also sexual maturation, man. You know what I mean? Melatonin also affects your stress and ability to adapt to a changing world, right? This third eye activates when exposed to light and has a number of biological functions in controlling the biorhythms of the body. It works in harmony with the hypothalamus gland, which directs the body's thirst, hunger, sexual desire, and the biological clock that determines our aging process. Almost like if you could manipulate that, you could probably manipulate the aging process and a whole bunch of other things if you had a super fast technical sequencer. You know what I mean? Something like that. All right. So, what's the significance of the third eye besides all that other stuff that I mentioned? Developing the third eye is the doorway to all things psychic and telepathy, right? So, there are many people that believe, and even a lot of scientists have come on board, since they're such naysayers of the paranormal, that the third eye is a communication device. It's the cell phone built into your head. And then you can think your thoughts to others, maybe far away, could be on the side of the planet. We have a lot of documentation of this type of communication that had gone on, or a feeling that you get where you need to call someone, something's going on, or even the way you communicate with your cat and your dog or whatever you got, right? So the illusion of separation between self and spirit dissolves when the third eye connected is cultivated. Metaphysical ways being connected are like to the third eye, such as how to be awake within a dream and to walk between realities and surpass limitations of humanity. So, why should you awaken your third eye? All kinds of reasons. One, because you can. Something that you've got, something that you're born with. Do you think that is it really part of the human body that's really unnecessary? People tell me the pinky is going to go to the wayside, but I kind of like my pinky, especially if I'm drinking some tea and I get to stick it up in the air all hoity-toity like. You know what I mean? So it's a necessity, right? So a blocked third eye, or ajna chakra, is said to lead to confusion, uncertainty, cynicism, jealousy, and pessimism, right? A lot of that in the world right now, isn't there? So through an open and vibrant third eye, the highest source of ethereal energy may enter. While the physical eyes perceive the physical world, the third eye sees the true world, a unified whole with an unyielding connection to spirit. Lists of benefits and abilities of third eye include clarity, concentration, perspicuity, bliss, intuition, decisiveness, and insight. The third eye has been linked to lucid dreaming, astral projection, quality of sleep, enhanced imagination, and aura viewing. So you can see that this has a connection, a conduit into you to the outside universe, right? And there's no limitations. There's no mathematical blocks of going back in time and forward in time, for instance. There's no limitations to where you can soar spiritually, right? So you got to look out for calcification, though. And this is interesting because this is going to get a little slightly smidge of political. And the question you have to ask of your governments and society is, why are they actively trying to suppress people's third eye, right? So calcification, how does calcification of your third eye occur? The calcification of the pineal gland is common if the third eye is not being used, or as a diet rich in fluoride and calcium. Calcification is the buildup of calcium phosphate crystals in various parts of the body. This process occurs because the toxins in everyday products like fluoride, hormones and additives, sugars and artificial sweeteners, all that can calcify your third eye. All that is poison to your third eye and your body, right? Radiation from cell phones and electric and magnetic fields may have negative impacts on the pineal gland as well. Some conspiracy theorists believe mass media campaigns avoid the use of fluoride and calcium motivated by government control programs. They don't want to talk about those programs. And if I was 10% more paranoid, and I am, I would also believe the same thing, because putting fluoride in your water, it doesn't help you at all. It doesn't help your teeth. They claim to help your teeth, but they don't. And a lot of communities had pushback on the fluoride campaign of not putting fluoride. By the way, you can buy fluoride and rinse with it and spit it out. You don't have to drink it and consume it. But here they are putting it in your water supply. Beyond rinsing, is something that you're taking into your body. So that you have to think about why would they even do that? Obviously you got to follow the money when it comes to all that, right? So how about we celebrate the third eye? How about me and you, we get together, have a bonfire, and celebrate our third eye, the stuff that we can see, the vision, right? I often say a picture doesn't really have the vision unless you have the vision for the picture. Well, as a photographer, when I take my landscapes, the sunset photos or anything like that, I think about it first. I put the energy in it. I put a lot of energy into it. I focus that energy on the shot and what I want, what I'm feeling at the time. And do you know, when I do that and I put it out there for people to see on Facebook or whatever, they say that to me sometimes. They feel that from the image. And it's not something that the image strikes at them. It's the feeling, man. See? That's that third eye type of stuff. So, as I said before, most animals have a pineal gland, often larger than human pineal glands, that drive instinctual knowledge. So while your pineal gland may be neglected and calcified, celebrate that you indeed have a pineal gland, number one. Start your activation practice simply by sending gratitude to your third eye for your innate intuitive abilities and your connection to nature through the rhythms of the world and the universe that the pineal gland governs. So spend 10 minutes each day consciously activating your third eye through meditation, chanting prayer, dance, yoga, whatever you got going on, man. I like to do a mixture of that with some coffee involved and maybe some candles going, man. So you got to celebrate it. You got to celebrate your spirit. You got to lift it up. Stay away from those low vibrations. Lift it up, right? So I'm going to discuss with you, all of you, 6 ways to awaken your third eye, in case you didn't know that you could. But obviously you can, since we're talking about it. Nothing's impossible. See that? So through decalcification and activation, you reclaim your path to your bliss, man, to your blissful connection and union with the source. In Taoism, we reference the source as everything, the absolute, right? Where everything comes from and goes back to. The source. Avoid fluoride, like I said before. Pay close attention to the water in your life. Tap water is a source of fluoride, which not to mention a whole host of other things, which contributes to the pineal gland calcification, which you already discussed. Fluoridated toothpaste is another prominent source of fluoride in modern diets, as are inorganic produce and artificial drinks made with impure water. Also, consider adding water filters to your sink and shower and faucets. See, but I like going beyond, because I'm a water freak. I love water. I love good water. And there's a certain type of water that I buy, not really high end, not low end, in the middle, normal price, I would say, especially for something that I like. But it's spring water from Maine. And they certify it as spring water from Maine. They show the springs where they come from, where it comes from, and I can drive with that. That's cool. It's been filtered by the earth. I'm all right with it, But other stuff, you've got Nestle's water, right, which is just filtered water. They take it from a water system in California. They don't even pay for the water, by the way. And so they take it from the water system, they filter it, and then they sell it to you. Now, you got to look at the alkalinity of water and the acid level of water. Right? Acid, alkalinity. So you want a balance. You don't want your water to have too much alkaline, but you definitely don't want to be in those negative numbers of acid. So you want that balance because your body, you got to feed your body. It's water. Water is life. Without it, you don't live. Without clean water, you don't live. You ever see people, people in America complain about a lot of stuff, but I mean, there are people around the world, many of them who are starving, who have nothing, who are drinking mud water and whatever. We have it pretty damn good, if you think of it in those terms, especially. But important to feed yourself good stuff and watch out for the chemicals. Soda, stay away from it, man. It's poison. You got to look at that stuff like it's poison. You got to look at it and actually envision in your mind that there's a skull and crossbones on there and it's poison and it's going to kill you. You don't want it. That's the way you have to feel. Any of those artificial sweeteners, sweet and low and all that, ugh, that stuff is horrible. It is not fit for human consumption. What does it do? Sweeten your drink a little bit? Come on, man. So really, this stuff you should just stay away from. But yeah, you can preach to people all day long. They're still going to do what they do. But if you're interested in doing things the right way, that's how you do it, man. You get good water in your life and you make an effort. You spend a ton of money on crap, junk, and garbage so you can spend a little extra on some good water, right? So supplement your diet. The list of supplements that support to detoxify the third eye is long and includes raw caca, right? Of course, which is the drink of kings, man. They made it into a chocolate drink, the Aztecs and all that. So big deal. That's why they say chocolate's so good for you. And not really a chocolate that's got so much sugar in it or milk and things like that, but dark chocolate, with very low sugar or almost no sugar. I can't eat chocolate with no sugar. I can put it in things. I can put it in my coffee, which has some sugar in it, but raw cacao, right? Goji berries, really cool stuff. Goji berry juice. And you know what? Juice is another thing. Because once they juice something in a factory and they put it in a bottle and then they heat it up, to pasteurize and all this stuff, they kill all the vitamins in there. They might vitamin fortify it after the fact, but really it's just not good stuff. Most orange juice sits in these big stainless steel tanks for up to 4 years. It turns brown. It certainly, if you look at it, it's not something you'd ever think about drinking. So they blast it with citric acid. They do other things. They bring the color back and then they load it in their bottles and send it to market, So when you buy food, you should really focus on, hey, if you're going to juice things yourself, juice them yourselves. Juice your vegetables. Juice, make your own juice. It's not that hard to do. Is it more expensive? Of course it is. It's not going to be cheap, but the alternative is something that doesn't really have a taste. It's got all kinds of additives. It's just not good for you at all. And there's no point in consuming it if it's not going to be something that's positive for your body, right? So let's see. You can have garlic and lemons and watermelon and bananas and honey and coconut oil and hemp seeds, cilantro, seaweed, spirulina, blue-green algae, raw apple cider vinegar. Now, apple cider vinegar is very popular these days. The one that I buy on the reg has shot up all the way up to $6 for a bottle. Used to be like $3. So it's become a gimmicky type of thing, but I've always used it. Sometimes I can't stomach it, but then I get on the kick where I have to drink some in the morning and that type of I go back and forth on it, man, which is good because if you have something every day, your body builds up a resistance and it gets used to it. So it's good to have waves of things that you do where it kind of shakes your body up a little bit, right? So apple cider vinegar, good. Zeolite, ginseng. I like ginseng. It makes me a little crazy. Borax, I use it if there's bugs around, whatever, put it in corners of the room and dries them up. Vitamin D3, bentonite clay, and chlorophyll are all ingredients that aid purification of the pineal gland. How about just watermelon? I love some watermelon. Give me some watermelon. Give some of that coconut oil. Put a little some honey. Yeah, a little coconut oil, a little bit of rum. You know what I mean? You can make a little pineapple juice. You got something going there. I like the sound of that. You could clean out your pineal gland and get a nice buzz going at the same time. Yeah. So use essential oils. Now, many essential oils stimulate the pineal gland and facilitates the states of spiritual awareness, including you gotta have some lavender, gotta have some sandalwood. Sandalwood and frankincense are my staples. Also, myrrh oil. Parsley and pine is good. Pine, of course, for the pineal gland. I love a piney forest, man. You ever get out there into a forest that's real dense? And, there's a few times a year where it releases that beautiful scent, man. It is amazing, amazing. Just take that in. I don't like fake pine. I don't like the smell of cleaning chemicals with fake pine. It just smells like death to me. It's something I don't want. And I can't even be near that stuff. The chemicals will affect me, burn my nose out and all that stuff. It's horrible, man. So, yeah, chemicals not good for me. When I buy cleaning liquids or anything like that, it's always all natural without fragrance. If I'm buying laundry detergent or something like that, always all natural, always, so yeah, it is what it is. That's just me. So essential oils can be inhaled directly. You can add to body oil if someone's nice enough to come over, give you a massage, a little bit of like frankincense going, with some little of this, a little of that, right? Burned in a diffuser or added to your bath water, even nicer, right? Or whatever. Or you can just rub some under your nose and take a shower. I guess. Especially if you have no one to give you a rub. So you can sun gaze. Now, sun gazing, you got to be careful because you don't want to sit there and be a dumbass and stare at the sun directly. It's not going to help you in life. It really isn't going to help you in life. The sun is a great source of power. People have listed it as gods in the past and whatever, right? But you gaze gently at the sun during the first few minutes of the sunrise or the last few minutes of sunset to boost your pineal gland. One of my favorite things to do is watch the sunset and take pictures of the sunset, so I'm covered. Sunrise, if I'm still awake and the sun's coming up and I'm still out and about doing my thing, I feel like I have to make the mad dash to get home. I feel like a vampire. I just hurry. I just get that sense of hurry, get home before you turn to dust. I don't know why. It's just, it's just the way it is, man. My life in New York City, we'd be at the clubs doing our thing. When I was a writer, I'd be reviewing bands and whatever, hanging out with friends. And then, you get to that 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30, clubs closed. You go to these places called after hour clubs. And usually it's just some joint. You knock on the door and they're kind of like, who there? It's me. And they let you in. And they shoot pool and they drink and whatever. All the stuff wasn't really totally legal, I guess, after hours clubs. But it was a place to party when the clubs closed, the party kept going. And then, in a couple hours, you're done. You want to get out of there. And then I get in my car. I start cruising out of the city. I stop at this place right by Madison Square Garden. Deli, man, had the best egg sandwiches. If you know New York City, if you're from Long Island, you're from New York, egg sandwiches are a staple. Even though someone threw their pork roll at me the other day, man, on Facebook. Like if I gave you a pork roll, there's this chick, if I gave you the most delicious pork roll you ever had, many women have said that to me. And by the way, they're always wrong. And I don't eat pork. And I don't want anything to do with pork roll. And if you know me, you know that I don't eat pork. And it's not a religious thing. It's whatever. It's a health reason, man. It's a science high school event when the science teacher poured rubbing alcohol on raw pork, and there was maggots crawling all over it within minutes. And I had made a decision that I wasn't going to eat any more pork, and I've been pretty good holding up to that. So it doesn't entice me. So don't throw your pork roll, especially when I'm reminiscing about an egg sandwich. My wonderful days of eating those egg sandwiches. I would buy two, get two egg sandwiches and a yoo-hoo, man. Get in the car, put on Howard Stern when he was actually good and he was on the radio and he wasn't all filthy gross. He was actually political, saying important things, the whole group of them. Drive out of the city and look at all the people who are waiting at the train stations, like wearing suits and their like skirts and whatever, wearing sneakers, because that's what they would do. They would take like their good shoes off because that wasn't so good to walk in, right? And then put on sneakers. And they look just so comical. They look like cows to me, I'd be like lit driving down the road with my egg sandwich, playing Howard Stern, looking at these people. I'm like, oh man, look at the cows. They look, whatever. I got sidetracked for a minute. So meditate and chant. Don't be the cows on the platform of the train wearing the sneakers with the suit, man. And it's a horrible, horrible fashion faux pas. Even if you're doing it on purpose, it's even worse. Right? So you meditate and chant. Meditation activates the pineal gland through intention. So consider visualizing the decalcification of the pineal gland. So it's covered with all this crap, and then you're using lasers, man, to knock it out. Clean that pineal gland. So as its sacred nature is illuminated and directly connected to the source, the chanting causes the tetrahedron bone in the nose to resonate. You know that? Blast that on your speakers and point it out your windows, That's not really where I resonate, though. I do a few of them when I'm in acoustic places. I love to send out these audio waves, man, because I hear it and I feel it and it fills the room. A shower is a good place too. I used to have this awesome shower that was big and just everything resonated and so well. That's when you don't have to put on the red light. Yeah. You can sing that song unless you could really sing. Some Elon Musk chant that same place. Saying you should do it 108 times each day. Uh, Nobody can offend anybody. It's not what it is. Oh, finally. I'm waiting for the people to put me back in again, man. See, all that chanting got me kicked offline. I was going on, boom. We were gone. Hope I didn't lose my entire audience. You guys keep tuning in, stick to itiveness and loyalty. Anyway, crystals. Now, crystals are influential allies in the quest to awaken your third eye. You use crystals and gemstones in the purple, indigo, and violet color palette. This color palette serves to awaken, balance, and align and nurture the third eye. True amethyst, purple sapphire, purple violet tourmaline. You know, my favorite, man, is violets of fire, which is a sapphire. It's very expensive stone, beautiful, amazing, especially when it's cut right. Amazing, amazing. So you place the crystal or gemstone between and slightly above the brow during meditation. And me personally, I don't believe in any of that, though, man. You know, they're fun. They're trinkets. You know, spiritual wise, it is what it is. It's more what you focus your energy on. You know, it comes from within and it goes back inside again. So crystals and all that, yeah, it's nice. You got the incense going, you got the oils, you set the mood, a little champagne. You got something good. I'm not saying you don't. How about let your intuition shine? So once you begin working with your third eye, you'll begin to receive guidance messages and visions. Strive to have the courage to follow through on what your intuition offers and let your third eye, strength that it'll only grow. Don't let stuff hold you back. I'm telling you from experience. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let things hold you back. Don't let uncertainty hold you back. A good friend of mine earlier had said that it's the risk takers that get all the reward. And, you know, you may as well go out there and do it. You remember that stupid slogan, just do it. Just do it. Not if you're thinking about committing crime or anything, of course, but you just do it. Don't let these things keep you in a box, right? So, including bad relationships or anything like that, whatever you got going on, if it's negative, if it's toxic, get rid of it, man. You know, get rid of it. And don't feel bad about doing it, right? Don't feel like you got to say, I'm sorry either. The third eye, you get a hunch. You're walking in the woods and you can choose between two paths. Your instinct tells you to take the right path. Your phone is ringing and you know who's calling. Oh, you meet someone and your guts tell you the person cannot be trusted. You see something move through a room without a possible explanation. Intuition. All of these things that have to do with that the third eye. When you grow in the spiritual sense, the process will definitely come in contact with. The more the third eye opens, the more your intuition grows. You can sometimes already predict what's going to happen before it actually takes place. Let it happen. When you have to make decisions, it's very well possible that you see in a flash the way it should be. The third eye, let it be. So with me, I like referencing these deer, man. I was cruising down the road, you know, had my ex's kid in the back seat. He was young. And, you know, we live in an area that's heavily populated in deer. And there's, you know, at any given time, there might be 8 or 9 sitting on your front lawn, looking through your window, watching TV with you, you know, while they're eating your bird seed. But we're cruising down the road, going to a store, and something told me to slow down, nearly stop. I'm going 45 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. Speed limit is 45. Something, I heard these like a singing almost. It was very weird. Something told me to stop. And I did. I followed my instinct. When I did that, maybe 30 feet ahead of me, about 7 deer crossed the road. And I would have run right into all of them. I wouldn't have been able to stop. I would have run, you know, right in. They kind of just bolted across the road. Well, not even like a nice little walk that they do. They bolted. And when they bolt, that's when people hit them really. It's hard to see. Or if, of course, you're cruising down the road and the sucker's in the middle of the road staring at you. Yep. I have hit 2 deer. And one walked into my car. None of them died, luckily, you know, but it's that intuition, it's that feeling like something bad's going to happen, and then I took issue with that, and then I'd stop. But so it goes to show you that it was a thing that got to do that, right? So the third eye is an energetic eye, right? The spot is connected to that pineal gland, and when it's activated, that third eye opens. You're going to have a whole world open up to you, even have the intuition a little bit, because a lot of people listen to the show have that. And if you're into the paranormal, that's one type of area of discovery, right? Hence discovery paranormal. But the third eye, the future, if the third eye develops further in the future, you can see clearly with it and observe other dimensions. A very important and interesting part of your spiritual growth. You might feel an itch on your forehead or get the feeling there's a red swollen spot. These are signs that your third eye is opening, or you're getting a humongous zit, right? Zit from eating all that chocolate with the sugar, man. You will see dots. One of my favorite candies, dots. You like dots? I love dots. Flashes and such, shoo, 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 And then you can then see all the energy of angels when they move around you. Imagine that. My favorite candy and angels. Let me tell you, that's beautiful, man. Signs the third eye is opening, other signs. So your dreams become more vivid and you can remember them better. You feel peaceful. You feel beings. You see beings. You often have deja vu experiences. You hear things other people don't. You have visions or see things others don't. How many intuits I know? How many psychics, mediums, that when they were children, their parents took them to psychiatrists because they thought they were nuts. That they have all these visions of this, seeing ghosts walking around the house. You say all the stuff, and these kids are so young, right? And then, they try to suppress it, or they want to give them drugs, Ritalin, or whatever the hell, to try to suppress it. And then there was no avenue at that time. There was no acceptance of these abilities. So when your third eye opens, you feel the need to meditate more. See, now I meditate all the time, constantly, not 24 hours a day, but I get into my zones, man, especially out in nature. But I could be driving down the road. I could be working, you get into a certain head and you start floating. You're in that world, man. You can imagine all these, I like to imagine flowing colors that come and go, and just all these cool bits of energy floating around that's just coming in and out of me, man. And in the Tao, we call it the universal flux, the dragon's veins, like the things, the energy that flows through the universe that you can tap into. That's a big feeling. It's a great feeling, When I first started learning Tai Chi on Long Island, my teacher, Dr. Chai at the time, asked me where my favorite place was to do Tai Chi, right? And there was a park next to my house that I like to go to, next to my apartment building. And also, but really, I'm a beach person, so I'd be going to the beach at night, nobody there, and then just kind of move with the wind, man, and just feel it, and the whole thing, the waves crashing, the whole bit, right? So he's like, next time you go down to the beach, put one foot in the water and one foot in the sand, and then embrace the universe, So it would just, and he said at that time, you're a part of the ocean and you're a part of the earth. You are connected, When you think in things like that, it's very powerful feeling, very powerful energy behind that. And when you know that you're connected through everything, it changes life for you. It does. And then a lot of things become petty. The people's bickering and sheepleness, all the sheep out there, it's petty. Who has time for that? It's so useless because the universe is so big. And there's so much to take in. There's so much to give back, right? So when your third eye opens, you know what your goal is in this life. You met your guide, right? You feel that you're being guided. You feel other people's emotions. You see auras. You often have a gut feeling, intuition for things. You have a tingling feeling, your third eye chakra, and you sometimes see that energy flow through the room, right? So exercise to open up your third eye, right? How about here's an exercise for you. Sit up straight in a comfortable position. Take a couple of deep breaths through your nose and make sure that you breathe to your belly, and you then blow out the air through your mouth. Let tension leave the body during these exhales more and more until you're completely relaxed. Once you're done, become aware of the spot between your eyebrows and then a little bit above them. Imagine an indigo blue ball of light right in front of your third eye. You see it, you feel it. You might even hear the electricity crackle, man. It's so powerful, right? You take a deep breath and hold it. Then gently bite your tongue with your front teeth. During your exhale, you make that though sound. Thou. I don't like that. Once you find the right pitch, you feel your third eye tremble. Repeat this 6 times in a row. Thou does not like this. Thou shalt not. Blah. One of those deals. So, you know what? Lao Tzu said controlling the breathing causes strain and stress. And when it comes down to the universe and feeling it move around and move through you, in fact, when you do Tai Chi, the very first move really is called embracing the moon. The short 24 move form, or there's longer forms, of course. It really is a shape-shifting type of thing where you become the animal that, or the element in nature that you're trying to channel or whatever, right? Get that energy, and embracing the moon and holding on to that moon. And if when I used to teach people Tai Chi, I would tell them that imagine you're holding a soapy ball, and if you don't hold it a certain way with both of your hands, it's going to slip out. You put too much pressure on it, it's going to slip out. But you have to keep moving it around. Now it gets, you move it to the right, you move it to the left, it gets bigger and bigger, and then you bring it over your head and it gets big. It's so big that your arms are completely extended out, holding this moon, man. That's the way to do it, right there. And then one time I was in a store called Wegmans, doing my shopping. I like to shop in the middle of the night when nobody's there because I don't like people that much. And then there I am looking at what the hell was I looking at? I was looking to buy some. I was going to buy some chives, man. I was going to buy those green onions anyway, because I like to do some Asian cooking sometimes, a little Thai, whatever. I like taking green onions and chopping one up and then tossing it in. I would buy just what I needed to make the food that night, so I didn't have stuff hanging around go bad. Things go bad with me. I torture bananas, man. If torturing bananas was against the law, I would have locked up a long time ago. I not only watched them turn like the bits of brown, I watched them, they get black and start leaking out, man, and then it's called abundance. Actually, it's something humans, it's part of what we are as humans, that for a long time, some people are still starving, obviously, but when humans didn't have enough food, you didn't let anything go to waste, not anything. So these days we could buy something like that and let it go bad and chuck it out and not even think about it, right? Anyway, yeah, I torture bananas, so that's right. Anyways, but I was watching this grass, and the sprinklers in the store had kicked on to add weight to the produce so they can charge you more for water, right? That's really what it's not about, keeping the produce crisp or fresh. In fact, it's really bad for the produce to keep whacking it with water like that, but they do. And I usually choose the produce that's kind of away from the sprinkler or underneath, and that's the crispiest and nice anyway. So I'm watching this water go down the green onion, whatever, the green onions, man. I'm watching. It's like taking the water, taking the drop, and bringing it right down to the ground. And it was such a nice movement, So I actually created a movement out of that, which was pretty cool. But anyway, Spiritual help, right? You could repeat this a couple of days in a row. It might give you a headache, but it will subside. If you're not ready to open your third eye, you can practice however long you want, but it won't happen. So don't force it. Just feel what's happening. Take your time. It can be a lengthy process. Some processes in spiritual growth can take a long time, even years, I mean, there are people, I'm 54 years old. I've been into this spiritualism, man, since I was a kid, basically, things that I've sought out when I was young. And I mean, I was 12 years old. I got into Taoism. And it's not, it's not a religion. It's just a philosophy. And I really like the way it jives inside of me and it all makes sense. Things have to make sense to me. That's why the Bible, it doesn't make any sense at all, unless you're listening to someone's bullcrap story. I've heard those stories in a lot of bars, man. Anyway, drunk talk. So, but some processes in spiritual growth can take a long time. It's you just have to keep up with it, and it's important to flow, right? But you'll feel that increased pressure in your head. You'll have the foresight. You'll have sensitivity to light, for instance. As your third eye expands, you're going to find you're more prone to light sensitivity. That's why you wear your sunglasses at night. So that's due to the fact that you are literally perceiving the world in a new light. I have a friend that has sunglasses with a third eye on top. Three lenses, one for his third eye. You're going to see the gradual changes. You're going to see manifestations of power. Contrary to popular beliefs, psychic power manifestation in people who have an active third eye is not uncommon. Telepathy, clairvoyance are two of the most prominent examples. We in the ghost hunting world, in the paranormal world, tend to say everybody is sensitive on some level. Everybody, right? So no matter how unfamiliar these processes can be and these feelings to you, if it's something that you seek, it's going to be something that you embrace, right? And then you nurture them. It's like growing, tomato plants or anything like that. Nurturing, cultivating, doing it the right way, right? So, and then seeing beyond is part of the obvious. The heightened sense of self is part of it too. So, in the end of the day, you could be a well-rounded individual, man, and understand the way the world and the universe works. And then when you watch mainstream media, you start laughing your ass off. You just shake your head in dismay that people are so blind. And that's the frustrating part of it, that they're so blind, and we just live our lives, but you're not living their lives. They're not living your life. That's why you don't let people tell you what to do. And that's why we're all in it together, living our own individual lives. Our paths up the mountain. Sometimes it's shared with other people. Sometimes it's not. But nothing is written in stone except birth and death. And what happens in the middle, when you find that contentedness or you find that happiness in life, you stick with it, because you don't have many chances in life to be happy. You create those chances, you create those moments, and you stay away from the ones who are miserable, who will take you down, who will suck up your life's blood. They're goddamn emotional vampires, man. Stay away. Anyway, I'm going to end the show on that note. Discovery Paranormal, using our third eye to see the universe. I will see you guys next week on this here show. Traveling around, doing my thing in DC now. Going to be somewhere next. I don't know, man. And eventually, we're going to do some live ghost hunts on this show, man. I think I'm trying to work things out now with a few people, but that'd be cool. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week on United Public Radio Network, UPRNTalkRadio.com, 105.3. Bye.